I never had a position of pretending to be this low tox person. I'm pretty tox. It's hard seeing yourself. It's hard putting yourself out there day in, day out. It's hard aging. It's hard aging as a public facing person. It's hard aging as a woman in Los Angeles. I ended up getting misconception, I think, about me is that I am a wellness obsessed person. I have a way more relaxed lifestyle, I think, than people might imagine when it comes to my diet, when it comes to my exercise routines, in every sense of the word. If I see a $5,000 coat, I think about what is the immediate return versus like, what would that do if I was putting that in one of my investment funds? And I think about that as future money. Something I will never, ever understand is having an opinion on whether somebody else bears children or not. It's such a major life decision that gravity should override anybody else's opinion. How do I deal with people's opinions about me on anything? I just don't care. Hi, Tessa.
Hi.
Do you guys remember Tessa? I feel like I haven't recorded in this studio in so long. It's so nice to be back.
I know. I've missed you.
I know. I missed you too. I literally feel like I came in today and it was like a reunion. It's like when you go back to school and you see everybody. So I'm excited to be doing a solo today. I have some things to catch you guys up on. And as usual, I did questions on Instagram, and I tend to get a lot of similarly themed questions when I do these Q&As. I tried to today break them down into like beauty, wellness, but we'll just kind of see where things go. So I'll start with lightning round, like I do with my guests. Rapid fire, if I'm capable of that. So the first question was, what is, in my opinion, the most overrated beauty trend? I personally don't really mind when people are jumping on trends, but I can just say out of my own experience, there were some trends that I jumped on in the past few years that I definitely wouldn't do again, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend. So one of those would be microblading. Eyebrow microblading. Tessa, did you ever get on that trend?
No, thankfully.
Yeah. This was like huge around 2018, I want to say. And I did it then. And it's kind of advertised as being like these feather strokes in your brows. And it does look amazing when you first do it. But what happens is the color tends to bleed a little bit. Some of it fades, and then you have to go back and do it over again. And then it bleeds some more. And then you're kind of left with this, like, in my case, gray discoloration, just like full shading behind the actual hair in my brows. And I don't think that there are great options to remove it. You can laser, you can do some kind of saline removal, but the laser comes with risks because you can actually kill the hair follicle and then you lose that hair. And it's just not something that I would recommend people do. Although I have seen people who have done it and it looks really good and they haven't really had those issues. So that would be one. Brow lamination is another thing that I think was way overdone. And when I say like way overdone, I'm talking about, do you remember the soap brows where it was like they were straight up when people started doing lamination? Now I think the aesthetic has changed a little bit to where it's like, it's a lot more subtle. Before it was like straight up and like very fluffy, and it was just not a good look on everybody. Some people can pull it off. I was super into lamination in 2023, not in the straight up way. But I think the chemicals are super, super harsh. And there are so many good brow gels today where you get the same exact effect and you don't have to like use what is essentially like a perm solution on your brows, like so close to your eyes. I just think it's a little bit dangerous. And then the last one, I have two more: lash extensions. I look back on old pictures of myself from like 2018, 2019. If people were following me back then they will remember. I never did the full caterpillar lashes, but I just think heavy lash is just not the vibe. I would do lashes every 2 weeks, and as soon as they started coming off, I would go and get another set. Again, like the glue and the eyes, like I just think sometimes we're doing too much. And that was one of the first things to shut down during COVID because people are like in your face putting the lashes on. And I remember when mine first came off, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. And now I don't even wear mascara. So we've come a long way. And the last one there, overrated beauty trends, is threads. Self-explanatory. I've talked about it enough. Personally, I don't think it's worth the investment. It's expensive. It can be really painful. And if you do get a result, it's very temporary at best. Underrated wellness habit, not beauty, wellness. I think there's a few, and I'm probably going to get into this more in this episode because I did see some questions around this, but I would say the most underrated wellness habit is probably meditation. And I always say I struggle with talking about this a little bit because I think people completely check out. However, I think it's one of the most grounding and transformative and foundational things that somebody can do for their life before doing all of the green juices and the supplements and the this and the that and all of the external things. Like even meditating for 10 minutes a day, even if you are quote unquote not a good meditator. I've been doing the Waking Up app. I have no affiliation with them. My ex-husband recommended it to me. And prior to that, you guys probably know if you've been listening for a while, I was doing transcendental meditation, which is more daunting. This is guided 10 minutes, super simple. And it's like mind blowing. And it's affected every area of my life. So I think that's underrated or overlooked because people don't want to do it, which I understand. And then just like the other foundational things, sleep, also overlooked. Hydration, also overlooked. I did not drink water like, I don't know, the last few days. I've just been like very much on my matcha game because I've been so tired and I've been dehydrated and I was like, why do I feel so horrible? Again, the foundational things, the walking, the sleep, the hydration, the meditation, like the really simple and often free things are the things that get overlooked because we want to jump right into optimization. What is the last thing that I bought that I regret? I don't really have regrets with purchases, at least not lately, because I've gotten way more intentional about how I spend my money. And that happened as a result of, one, my divorce. I never thought about money prior to that, and I've been really open about that fact. And two, doing this house for the past year and a half almost at this point, and starting a new business, and just like really being on my own with everything. I've had to really strategize when it comes to how I spend my money. So like I really haven't been shopping a ton. Part of that, again, is because of the spend with like the business and the home and all of that. But also I think about purchases. Like if I see a $5,000 coat, I think about like, what is the immediate return versus like, what would that do if I was putting that in one of my investment funds? And I think about that as future money, and it would be future way more money than $5,000. So I think about things in that sense. All of that to say, I don't have too many regrets because I haven't been shopping or anything like crazy or buying anything frivolously. But I do have things hanging in my closet from the past that still have tags on them that are like exorbitantly expensive. But I was thinking and I was approaching money differently at that time. What is a product that I'll always gatekeep a little? I really don't think I gatekeep anything. Do you think I gatekeep anything?
No, I feel like you're pretty
I
open.
feel like I'm a total open book when it comes to like the things that I do and the things that I use. I'll get to that in a minute. I think the one thing I would say I'm gatekeeping right now is my own product that I've been developing, only because I don't want to talk too much about it until it's out, which hopefully is next May. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that's going to influence that. I actually have 2 products now, which is so crazy. It's so crazy to me to do my skincare routines and I'm using my own products. It's the coolest feeling. At the same time, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I saw today Dua Lipa now has a skincare line coming out with Augustina Bader. Kim Kardashian is coming out with her skincare. I mean, literally everybody is coming out with skincare. And I don't really worry about the saturation or like the competition because I have so much confidence in my product and the people behind it. But it's just kind of like, I don't want to add to waste. That's the only thing where I feel like everybody is just jumping in to like throw their hat in the ring. And I always said I didn't want to like do another product just to do product. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gatekeeping that, but not for long, hopefully. Okay, we'll do a couple more of these. What is an it girl trend that I'm quietly over? What are the it girl trends? Just like
I don't know.
clean girl.
Yeah, clean girl aesthetic.
I think I'll always be into clean girl aesthetic. I don't
Mob
know.
wife was a trend for a while.
What was?
Mob wives.
Mob wives. What was that? Like the fur coats? And I like that if it's faux fur. Nobody get mad at me. I like a little mob wife, like winter kind of vibe. I love a clean girl aesthetic only because I care so much about skin, but I also love makeup. It's like totally circumstantial. It kind of depends on what you're doing. I feel like low rise, that is maybe one that I don't have to live with. Like low rise jeans, that's like a very, right?
Yeah, they're making a comeback.
Yeah.
They're more like baggier jeans now.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind low rise baggy, but I remember when I was in high school, my style aesthetic at least has not changed at all, really. And I did get style questions, so this is kind of relevant to that. I mean, in high school in the early 2000s, I was wearing like diesel jeans, boots that were identical to the row boots that I wear like every day. They weren't the row. And like long coats and sweaters. Like I've just always had one style, but I remember these diesel jeans had what is it called? A rise of like
an inch.
Like an inch. And I'm like, only when you're 15 or 16 and like 90 pounds can you get away with that. I don't know. I think it looks good on other people, but for me, I'm just, no, maybe I'm too old. Okay, beauty brand that actually lives up to the hype. I would say my favorite beauty brands right now are just the things that I use on a daily basis. So that would be like Rare Beauty. I love some of her products. The brow gel is, to what I was saying before about the lamination, I think it's the best brow gel. I also like the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I like the Rare Beauty blush. I love Say. I'm trying to upgrade my makeup routine. So a lot of you guys know I still very much do the high school bronzer all over the face, the powder, Hoola, Benefit bronzer. And like I've just been stuck in my ways. I have one makeup look always, but I'm branching out. So I'm loving Say. I love Westman Atelier, everything that she does. I like Kosas. Those are brands that I think are doing it really well right now in beauty. And skincare, I mean, there's so many brands and I don't really branch out a whole lot. I'm loving the Shani Darden plumping serum right now. I use that every night. I love it. I love Jan Marini still, although I've massively edited down my 9 to 11 step routine of hers to just a few steps. Actually, I'll go into this question now because I did get a question. What is my full skincare routine now that I'm not doing Botox? So first, the skincare routine part. In the morning, I'm still doing the Jan Marini Bioglycolic Cleanser. I'll do one of my products. I'll do Jan Marini Vitamin C, SkinCeuticals Petiox if I want to be very, very dewy, Jan Marini Luminate MD, which has a retinol in it. It's good for melasma, hyperpigmentation, moisturizer, sunscreen. At night, I do LMS Cleansing Balm, Shani Darden Cleanser sometimes, or Jan Marini Glycolic Cleanser, depending on what actives I'm going to use. And then I do my product, and then a retinol, sometimes Shani. I'm experimenting with that a little bit. Shani Plumping Serum, moisturizer, and that's it. That's the skincare routine. The Botox portion of that question. Actually, I'll go to this next question. So, do I ever feel pressure to keep up with treatments or trends because of my job? So, I never feel pressure to keep up with trends. I think there's a misconception about me, and that is that I'm always running around getting treatments, jumping on whatever the trend is with the lasers and the facials and the peels and the this, that, and the other. And like, I think I was pretty open about the fact, especially the last 2 years, that I literally like did not do one thing. I didn't do a laser. Actually, that's a lie. I did a little baby CO2 under my eyes. I had a few facials, but those are kind of like the extent of the in-office treatments that I did. In the last 2 years, nothing, no surgery, no lasers. So there's never been pressure to keep up with treatments or keep up with trends. But there is some pressure that comes along with seeing yourself on camera every day. At least for me, like there are a few very hard things. I think it's hard for anybody, no matter what your age is, to see yourself on camera. The last 2 years, I saw myself on camera going from 38 to 40. No Botox, no treatments, no nothing. And I know a lot of people said that I had never looked better and all of that. And I really appreciate that. And people were like, you look a lot younger without Botox. And I always said that there were certain elements of not having Botox that I really enjoyed. But it was hard. And I ended up, Tessa's like, get to the point. She wants to hear this story. I ended up getting Botox. I share in this episode that I am very, very selective when it comes to the supplements that I take. And I generally only take things that I know that I need as a result of blood or GI work. One of those things that I love taking is Armra colostrum. And this is because we live in an environment where our biology was really never designed to be in. So EMFs, artificial light, things like seed oils, hyper-processed foods, microplastics, endocrine disruptors, everyday modern stressors, these assaults can really disrupt the signals that your body relies on, negatively impacting gut, immune, and overall health. So Armra colostrum works at the cellular level to bolster your health from within. Colostrum is nature's first whole food with over 400 bioactive nutrients that fortify gut health, strengthen immune health, fuel performance, and more, paving the way for your best health and vitality. I particularly love the gut health benefits. Oftentimes, probiotics are touted as a gut health solution, but they only address one part of the 4-part gut wall, whereas Armra colostrum naturally fortifies your entire gut wall system, nourishing your microbiome and strengthening the gut wall architecture, helping to guard against everyday threats. So that is why I take this every single day, and it has so many other benefits. I have worked out a special offer for my audience. You can receive 30% off your first subscription order. Go to armra.com/well or enter well to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's armra.com/well. Let's talk about something that every business owner knows too well, unfortunately, which are missed calls, because missing a business call is like watching money fly out the window and straight into your competitor's hands, which is why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the smarter way to run your business communications, and I will tell you why. So Quo is the #1 business phone system built for 2025, not 1995. It's rated the top choice for customer satisfaction with over 3,000 reviews on G2. And forget juggling phones or, God forbid, using a landline. Quo works right from an app on your phone or computer. Your whole team can share one number and collaborate on calls and texts like a shared inbox, which means faster responses, happier customers, and Quo's not just a phone system, it is a smart system. This is my favorite part. It has built-in AI call logs, it writes summaries, and even sets up next steps. And if you can't answer the phone, Quo's AI agent can. So qualifying leads, routing calls to the right person, and making sure no customer is ever left hanging is everything that you get with Quo. Even after hours, Quo has got your back. Quo is offering my listeners 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/blonde. That's QUO.com/blonde. You can even keep your existing number for free. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
As much as I love fall and winter and cooler temperatures, I don't love what it does to my skin. So, dropping temperatures and lower humidity means that your skin can have a tough time retaining moisture, even if you're keeping up that 12-step nighttime skincare routine, which is where Ritual's Hyacera skin supplement comes in. It is a clinically proven way to support skin hydration with science backed benefits like reducing wrinkles and improving skin smoothness. I absolutely love Hyacera. I noticed a huge difference, especially in that retention of moisture, which is something that I have noticed is kind of dwindling as I age and especially as I turned 40. Hyacera is a once daily skin supplement. It's clinically proven to reduce fine lines and increase skin smoothness in 90 days. In fact, in a clinical study, Hyacera led to a 2.9x increase in skin smoothness and a 3.6x reduction in crow's feet wrinkles within 90 days as compared to placebo. Hyacera subjects also reported an improvement in skin elasticity, glow, and radiance in 90 days. So it's such an easy way to support your skin from the inside out. And as with all Ritual supplements, it's actually enjoyable to take. It has a soothing vanilla essence, and it's rigorously tested and validated by a third party for allergens, microbes, and heavy metals. So start Hyacera to support your glow without compromising on clean science. My listeners can get early access to their Black Friday sale for 40% off your first month at ritual.com/blonde. That's ritual.com/blonde for 40% off your first month. Don't miss out on their best sale of the season.
For 2 years, first of all, I was traumatized by what happened. And I really, truly thought, in the beginning at least, I tried getting a few units. You guys know the story. If you don't, you can go back and listen to the episodes that I did around what happened to me after I got Botox in 2023. I wasn't sure what it was from. In my heart, I knew that it was the Botox, but other people said, oh, maybe it's this or that or whatever. So a few months after the initial incident, I tried getting a few units and I had a bad reaction again. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm done for now. And I was terrified. And just the thought of doing it again terrified me because nobody really knew what happened. Nobody knew what would happen if I tried it again. And I remember I had this doctor on my show. He was an immunologist, I believe, Michael Wool. And I was talking to him after we recorded about what happened. And he said he didn't think that it was from the Botox. But then he said, after I explained to him, well, I got it again and I had this reaction again, he said, oh, well, you should probably not do it because it could be like some kind of allergy. And you see this happen sometimes with people who get stung by a bee, where they get stung the first time and they're okay. They get stung again a year later. Their body has developed these antibodies and they go into anaphylactic shock. So it's like you can become allergic to anything at any time in your life, period. Every doctor told me that. So it was very scary for me. And I had that voice inside me. Every time I would think okay, do I maybe want to try again? Which people probably won't understand, but at the same time, it's back to what I'm saying, like aging, turning 40, seeing myself all the time, seeing my face change. I had a lot of success with things like face taping and skincare and all of that, but there were still things that I was insecure about that I was like, God, I wish I could still do it. And I had that voice inside me that was screaming at me, do not do it. And as I got more stable with my health stuff and started treating this underlying condition that I never knew that I had and got super, super stable with the right medications and everything, I kind of started thinking about it again after 2 years. So I was in Florida beginning of October and I was with Miguel Mascaro, who you guys know is a good friend of mine. And I was like, I don't have that voice inside anymore that's screaming at me not to do it. And I feel like after being sober for so long, I have that intuition and I listen to that voice. And someone asked me about how do I make decisions? I listen to that. And I was like, I don't know. I think maybe I can try it again, being stable, being on these meds. I'm not having these reactions anymore to things that I was reacting to, perfumes and products and foods and temperatures and everything. And I knew that with him, I would be in good hands. I was like, you're going to babysit me. I'm going to come into the office you're going to babysit me for like at least an hour after. We're going to do just a few units and just see how my body responds. I'm going to pre-treat with these medications. And so he was like on board with all of that. And so I went there and he gave me applesauce because it's like my favorite comfort.
Okay.
So funny. Usually when you go into a doctor's office and you're getting like injections, they have like the syringes on the table. He had my applesauce and my sparkling water. And I was like, okay. And I'm not going to lie, I was scared. And so if you're listening to this and you're thinking like, wow, that's really sad that you were willing to like risk a reaction just for wrinkles or like your whatever vanity. Like I understand that. These are all things that have gone through my head, but I also felt like I'm never going to know unless I try. And so I can just try and I'll either know like this is absolutely off the table forever and like move on, or maybe it'll be fine. So it was more or less fine. And then I, at 2 weeks, did a little bit of a touch up with Jen Hollander, who I go to here in LA. And I like kept a log of everything. And I have been fine.
Okay.
Yeah. It might ruffle some feathers. And I understand that. And I feel like I did get people who followed me who were on their own no Botox, no tox journey. And I hope that nobody feels like they were like duped or anything by that. I think I always made it very clear that I was never anti-Botox. I was very pro, I still am, informed consent. I don't think that there's enough informed consent around Botox, filler. Like you go and you sign the consents and like you don't even read them. I mean, when I went to do it again, when I went to Jen's office, like I'm going through the paperwork, I'm not reading everything, you know? And I still think that there is a lot of shady behavior around adverse reactions not being reported and kind of being covered up. So it was a tricky decision for me. And I don't know, like, I don't know if I'll keep doing it because I do feel like it is a little bit of Russian roulette. Yeah, the vast majority of people are going to be totally fine, but look at what happened to me. Like, I'll never forget how that was, and it completely altered my life in every single way. So it's still something that I kind of grapple with, but I also didn't want to go on and do my skincare routines, and I have a skincare product coming out, and be this person who everybody is like, oh, she stopped doing Botox, and like, look, you still look amazing. Like, I felt like I had to be honest about it. Otherwise, it's back to like the gatekeeping. I feel like I am an open book, and that was that decision.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get a reaction.
Yeah. It was a little, there were a couple days where it was like a little sketchy, but it was not anything that I hadn't experienced before. When I have a flare with my like immune thing that I was diagnosed with. So I kind of knew how to treat it. And that happened the first time and not the second time. Do you think I'm crazy?
No. Not at all.
It's hard. It's hard seeing yourself. It's hard putting yourself out there day in, day out. It's hard aging. It's hard aging as a public facing person. It's hard aging as a woman in Los Angeles. It's hard being somebody who, like, I'm not going to lie. I care about my skin. I care about my appearance. Like, I don't think that makes me vain. I think that that's just the reality. And so it's really hard. So that was kind of what drove that decision. We were super, super, super conservative as well. And I always said, like, if I ever did it again and thereafter, I would do it way differently than I was doing before. Like, I wouldn't be doing so many units every 3 months. Like, I really do feel like having gone through what I went through, it really didn't wear off fully for like a year. So I was like, this thing about every 3 months, I mean, everybody has different aesthetic goals and all of that. But anyway, that is where I am with that. I feel like I'm defending it too much.
No, you sound good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know there are the people who said that they stopped listening to my podcast because I made it all about what happened with the Botox. And I'm like, I've always only just shared my experience of what I'm going through and the realities of my life and all of that. And that is usually what my content is. And it's like very organic for that to be part of the conversation. And so when that was something very real that I was going through for a long time, like it was kind of top of mind, especially in certain conversations with people in the beauty industry, or if people were asking me questions on my solos. But like, I hope that I made it very clear that I was never anti, that I never had a position of saying I was never going to do it again, or like pretending to be this like low tox person. I'm pretty tox. My lifestyle is kind of tox. I mean, you look at my skin, my skincare is clean that I'm coming out with. But, you know, I've always been like kind of a pick your poisons kind of person and very, very loose when it comes to my wellness. So, yeah. So that's probably all I'm going to say about that. So don't worry, I'm not going to like make this all my content again, but I did want to be honest with you guys. Okay, it's been like 20 minutes. They're like, I get it. Has my definition of looking good changed as I've gotten older? I think 1000% it has evolved. This also goes with the current beauty trends and beauty standards and aesthetic trends. I mean, like I was saying in the beginning, microblading with like brow lamination and lash extensions and threads, that was the 2018 aesthetic. I was more into like matte full coverage makeup, and then that changed with this embracing of a more clean girl aesthetic, or whatever you want to call it, a more natural aesthetic. But I think also I kind of came home to myself and like became way more confident in myself and who I am and what I'm doing. And I think that that reflected in my appearance and not feeling like I wanted to cover up so much and be so like with the fake everything. And it came with a certain level of comfort in my skin. And obviously that doesn't mean that I don't still have insecurities. By the way, people are going to ask, I did Botox around my eyes, which I still have movement. So we're not like freezing anything, but I forgot to add that part. But yeah, I mean, I think that as I get older, I think natural is really beautiful. I really, really dove into skincare in the last 2 years and found out how much heavy lifting skincare can do when it comes to your appearance and even fine lines and wrinkles and things like that. I work hard on my skin and I don't necessarily want to cover that up. And so it's totally evolved. Do you feel like your definition of looking good has evolved as you've gotten older? I feel like we all look back and we cringe at things that we did.
Yeah, I feel like my 20s, I feel like I look better than in my 20s, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. I forgot you're a baby.
21 me versus now. I'm like, yeah, I like it better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look back at 31, 32 me. So it's like kind of around the same time. It's like what was trendy at that time when you were 21, when I was 31. But I think that's happening with so many people. And we are in this time where like you look at 50 and 60-year-old women who I personally think look better than they looked when they were like in their 30s or 40s. And again, that does kind of come back to the aesthetic of that time and being in this time now where it is kind of more natural and all of that. But yeah, I mean, I think that for me, it's definitely been like less is more. And it used to be more is more. Do I feel like the constant innovation in skincare is actually making things worse for us? Yeah, I have a lot to say about this. I think that people have decision paralysis when it comes to what to use. And I think that sometimes innovation is just marketing. And a lot of the products out there that are like peptides and stem cells and exosomes and touting themselves as these very advanced therapies, they don't necessarily have much of an impact on the skin. Certain brands, yes. Certain brands, no. For me, I just like to do tried and true ingredients and smart formulations. And I'm like really not into a lot of the innovative stuff. And that's what I wanted to do with my line as well, is have like heavily clinically researched ingredients that have been around, that are tried and true, that are simple and effective, but like layered and super smart formulations. So I think that the pendulum is going to swing back a little bit to the middle, where I feel like it's moving in one direction, where it's like super innovation and like the future of skincare and all of these crazy therapies. And I think that people are going to crave kind of the opposite of that, hopefully. But I feel like that happens with everything. I mean, I feel like it's happening now with like AI, you know? You look at like AI with content, and I hear a lot of people in the industry talking about, what does this mean for us in the future? And is AI going to take over? And I think it's going to hopefully have the opposite effect, where people are craving more realness and more authenticity and more reality as like a response to the hyper like fakeness of AI. Okay, now I'm going off on a tangent. Barely gotten through any of my questions. Are there any trends that I think we'll look back on and cringe at? I think we kind of covered them. But maybe, who knows, we might be sitting here in 5 years and I'll be like, oh my God, the natural clean girl aesthetic. And I'll have a full beat and my lash extensions, a couple threads, face frozen, and some soap brows. You never know. I stay open. And adaptable. Okay, let's go to some more wellness-y questions.
When people think about being hydrated, they often just think about drinking enough water, but really being optimally hydrated means that you are also replenishing with essential electrolytes. This is a non-negotiable for me when I am doing hard workouts, if I'm going for long walks, if I'm eating a low sodium diet, and especially when I travel like I have been. So nothing dehydrates me more than a long haul flight. So taking my Element on flights is a total non-negotiable. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling electrolyte water born from the growing body of research revealing that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels 2 to 3 times government recommendations. Each stick pack delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes free of sugar, artificial colors, and other dodgy ingredients. They have the best flavors. They have orange salt, citrus salt. I love their grapefruit. I love watermelon, raspberry. They have so many amazing flavors to choose from. And Element is formulated for basically anybody on a mission to restore health through hydration. And right now, Element is offering a free sample pack with any purchase. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/well. This deal is only available through my link, so you must go to drinklmnt.com/well. If you're dealing with hair issues like thinning or shedding, but you feel totally stuck on what to try next, I get it. I have been there. There are so many products out there, and it's really hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. This is exactly why I gave Nutrafol a closer look, and it's really not just hype. It's physician formulated, clinically tested, and even recommended by dermatologists. In fact, when I started taking Nutrafol years ago, it was not only recommended to me by my dermatologist, but by a plastic surgeon friend of mine, a nurse practitioner friend of mine, my hair colorist, the person who cuts my hair. Basically, everybody was recommending it. It is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And you can feel great about what you're putting in your body, since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, which is the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy using a variety of hair measurement tools. And adding Nutrafol into your daily routine is so simple. You just purchase online, no prescription required. So see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners 10% off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BLONDE. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BLONDE. Nutrafol.com, code BLONDE. I want to share with you guys an amazing scientific breakthrough that is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. And if you're wondering why is this such a breakthrough, well, it is amazing to support our long-term health and wellness and, of course, aging and longevity. So that essential fatty acid is called C15, and it turns out that 1 in 3 people worldwide may have low C15 levels, which leads to cellular fragility syndrome. So we know that when our cells don't have enough C15, they become fragile and age faster. And when our cells age, our bodies age too. So thankfully, Fatty 15 repairs age-related damage to cells. It contains pure C15. It protects them from future breakdown. It activates pathways in the body that help to regulate things like sleep, mood, and natural repair mechanisms that support our overall health. And then this functionality leads to so many other exciting benefits now and as we get older. In fact, 72% of Fatty 15 customers report seeing or feeling benefits within 16 weeks, including improved metabolic, liver, and heart health, smoother functioning joints, deeper sleep, or healthier hair, skin, and nails, all of the essential things. A lot of people know the benefits of taking something like an omega-3 or fish oil, but Fatty 15 actually has 3 times more cellular benefits than those. So it's definitely something to include in your routine to help repair cells and restore long-term health. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help you live healthier longer. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/well and using the code WELL at checkout.
How do I balance wanting to feel my best with not wanting to over-optimize? I feel like I touched on this a little bit before. Again, misconception I think about me is that I am a wellness optimization guru or like wellness obsessed person. I don't know. I see articles sometimes where I'm mentioned, like where the podcast is mentioned, and they're like wellness guru. And I'm like, what? Who's the guru here? Definitely not me. I have a way more relaxed lifestyle, I think, than people might imagine when it comes to my diet, when it comes to my exercise routines, when it comes to my products, like in every sense of the word. But I think that was kind of born out of that period when I started my Instagram and started my podcast, when I was kind of following a more rigid wellness approach where I was like super into macros, super into working out all the time, more into like supplements, and I would say maybe more into optimization at that point, but it didn't serve me. And I know that it doesn't serve so many people, and I'm sure it doesn't serve a lot of people listening. And I think that that is why my episode that I did with Joe Holder a few weeks ago really resonated with so many people, because of his emphasis on wellness as an art and wellness as something that's supposed to add to your life in a nourishing way and add vitality to your life versus adding rigidity to your life, if that makes sense. And again, it's that pendulum, like it's always swinging. And I think that we swung like way in one direction. And now people are realizing that maybe some of these practices have been more to our detriment than anything. We have a saying in recovery, and I'm sure I've said it on the podcast before, but the saying in recovery is that we wear it like a loose garment. It's not our entire life. It's not our entire personality. It's not something that we have to hold on so tightly to. It's just like there. And it's like a set of tools in your toolbox that you know how to use and you know when to apply them. And that's how I balance wanting to feel my best without over optimizing. At this point, I know my body so well. And so I know what tools to use when, and most of the time, it's like those foundational things. If I have those foundational things down, like my sleep is good, my stress management is good, my hydration, I'm walking, like I'm moving, I'm eating, in ways that support my well-being versus like, I go out to eat all the time too. So there's a balance there. But if I'm doing those things, then I can get into some of the optimization stuff. But okay. Any supplements, routines, or habits that I've dropped because they weren't worth it? I take supplements solely based on blood work. I take magnesium, shout out Ned, mellow magnesium, but that's like something that I think so many people are deficient in, and that made such a huge difference for me when it came to my sleep. There are things that I will add on sometimes, occasionally, if I feel like I need them, but I just base my supplements off of my blood work and sometimes like GI work to see if there's anything there that needs to be worked on. And so it's like very tailored to me. So I'm just taking things that I need and nothing extra. What is one low effort wellness thing that actually changed my life? I wanted to circle back to this one because I did mention it in the beginning, but that was meditation. And I just really think that it is the foundation of wellness. And I think there's a misconception that you meditate because you want to feel more calm, or you meditate because you want to feel more happy, or you want to feel more balanced. And those can definitely be byproducts of meditation. But I heard this talk actually in my meditation today. And he said the real purpose of meditation is to have fundamental insights into your mind, insights that can change your whole approach to life. And he said most people don't realize how their thoughts structure their experience of the world. So that's the big benefit that I've had from meditation, is like observing my thoughts and then having a perspective change as a result of that and detaching from that. And like I said, those other things have been byproducts, and that ability to like hear my intuition, like what I was saying with the Botox. I mean, people might think that sounds so woo-woo, but like it doesn't just apply to that. It applies to business decisions. I feel like we truly all have that voice deep down within us where if we can listen to it, it can really guide us. And there are so many times where that voice for me will be like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm so stubborn and I do it anyway. And I might not have immediate consequences, but there's always ramifications somewhere down the line, sometimes in ways that I would not have even predicted as a result of like bulldozing through that voice. And then conversely, sometimes that voice is like, yes, you're on the right path, or like, yes, you just get that like that sense or that feeling. I wouldn't have that if I didn't take the time to meditate. Okay. Hopefully I don't sound like an evangelist when it comes to that. Do you meditate?
I do. I use the Open app. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I've never tried that one.
Yeah, they have like a studio in Venice.
Mm-hmm. Any meditation, I mean, Mimi Bouchard, like she has her activations. You can do it when you're walking. You can do it when you're getting ready. Like it doesn't have to be the waking up thing that I do. It doesn't have to be transcendental meditation. What's cool, I think, especially about being in recovery for so long, is that like there's an emphasis on always seeking to expand your spiritual life. And so that's why I like to try different things. And that's something that's cool about my relationship with my ex-husband, is that he does the same thing and he has more experience than me in that area, and he has good recommendations. And he also has a lot of wisdom when it comes to like spirituality and all of that. So I like learning and like being a sponge because I don't know, I think it's so impactful. Okay. See if there's any quick ones. Are there any treats that I enjoy that would shock us? Shock you? Yeah, that was definitely, that was a phase. The Diet Coke was a summer fling. I mean, there is nothing like a crisp Diet Coke in the hot summer. Right now, I'm like, it does not even like register. It's not on my radar as something that I want. Maybe when I go away next week, I'm going to be in a warm climate again, somewhere I haven't been. And I feel like there's going to be some Diet Cokes there. I'm like very into baking right now. Anything crisp, apple crisp, peach crisp, pear crisp, crumble, whatever the you want to call it, as long as it has a fruit on the bottom, a ton of sugar, and then the crisp is crisp because I put a whole stick of butter and mix it with flour and oats, and that's it. Super into that right now. I don't know if that's like shocking to people. Again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about being very lax about things. I go out to eat all the time. We were out the other night. We had this amazing like pasta carbonara. I don't even know what it was. It was like a cream sauce with a fettuccine. It was so good. a few nights after that, we had this amazing gnocchi, fries. Like, I definitely indulge. I would say 70-30 maybe is the breakdown. But sometimes if I feel myself like going into a place where I feel like I'm just not functioning optimally or very well, then I know when to like rein it in. So I don't know if that's surprising to people. How has it been balancing such a busy social life with being introverted? I think maybe this is a question in response to me sharing about being in a relationship with like the ultimate extrovert. When I had Nina Westbrook on my show, we were talking about this, and I think I've shared about it on solos as well. It's very interesting. So when I was married and when I came out of my marriage, I identified as an extroverted introvert, meaning I get my energy from being alone. I like being social, but I hit a wall at a certain point. And like, I mean, I would go out to dinner with people maybe like once or twice a week, get together with friends like once or twice a week. And then I was like working. And then I met my boyfriend who was like so social and extroverted. He is like on the phone calling his friends from like 6 a.m. till like 10 o'clock at night. With this person, with that person, we're traveling, we're meeting this person, like always bopping around, always. It's interesting. I don't think I'm as introverted as I thought that I was. I think that it was a product of the relationship that I was in with my ex, who's very introverted, and just like the life and the structure of the life that we had set up for us. We were kind of in our own bubble. And so it was easy to be really comfortable in that bubble and not want to leave that bubble. And that made me feel like when I did leave that bubble, I was like, oh, I want to go back to the bubble. Like that was kind of what was happening there. And I still definitely get energy from being alone, but I find that I crave like being with people and I crave interaction in a way that I never really did before, except for when I was drinking. And it's interesting because I think back to my drinking days, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, where at the time I felt like a lot of my drinking was about connecting with other people, and I felt like I needed that to connect because I was introverted. Now I don't feel that way. I don't necessarily think that the drinking was a way to like lubricate that, to have that connection. I think it was a lot of things, but I don't need that now. I really just truly enjoy being way more social. And there are definitely times where I'm like, no, I need to like set my boundary and like go home and do a puzzle and not talk to anybody for a few hours. But I would say, I think my boyfriend and I really balanced each other out to where he kind of came down a little bit here and I kind of came up a little bit here, and we like met in the middle. So it's been fun.
Sounds like you're more of an ambivert.
Tessa coming with the with the psychology terms. Ambivert?
Ambivert.
That's like a mix, right?
Yeah. Here you get energy from certain people, but you also need time to recharge.
Yeah, there's definitely some people who are like energy vampires.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely sensitive to that, where I think like my boyfriend doesn't. He's just like one mode always. And there are, I think, true extroverts. My best friend is very much a true extrovert too. I don't think anybody drains her. Whereas for me, I'm like, there's certain people where I'm like, after an hour, I'm just, no. So yeah, that tracks, where like it kind of depends on the people and it kind of depends on the situation. After all the effort I put into my house, would I consider a real estate career? No. I mean, it was so fun. Stressful at times, so fun, but no, I already have like 4 jobs. I'm like, this is too much. The podcast is a full-time job. I run 3 accounts of social every day. I'm like, I think people don't realize what goes into it. And then starting an entire company is more than a full-time job. So no, I have too many. I'm wearing too many hats as it is. I have no interest in real estate at all whatsoever. I feel like I answer this one a lot, but somebody said I'm late 30s. I don't want kids. How to deal with people's opinions on this. Something I will never, ever understand is having an opinion on whether somebody else bears children or not. I don't understand. I truly don't understand. I mean, I think I'm lucky in that in my family, there was never any pressure. And when my brother started having kids, I was like, great. I'm like, I am off the hook. Not that like My family is just not the type of family that would pressure me or anything. I always say this. It's always strangers on the internet who have the strongest feelings about whether or not I procreate or not. It's such a major life decision that gravity should override anybody else's opinion. I don't know. Like, how do I deal with people's opinions about me on anything? I just don't care. You just have to not give it any weight. And I think that comes with having confidence in yourself and your choices, and your autonomy. But I just think that there is nothing worse than living your life according to what you think people think, or what people think, or anticipating what people think. Because even if people have opinions about whether you have kids or not, they may have an opinion for 1 second or 10 seconds or 1 minute, and then they're going back to thinking about themselves, or they're on to the next person and judging them. It's such a huge decision. It's such a personal choice. And if you truly know, or even if you know for now, but you're not sure in the future, that's enough. Like, I don't think that anybody else's opinion should have any kind of weight when it comes to a decision like that. Yeah, no. That's a no for me. It doesn't make sense to me. Everybody has an opinion on everything now. It's like what you do for work, who you're dating, what do you do with your face, your body. Like, everybody is so judgy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at yourself. Like, don't look at other people. Look at yourself. I was listening to this speaker in recovery, and they were like, we tend to judge other people by their actions. Or no, how did they phrase it? I judge you by your actions and myself by my intentions. Like, people who are judging what other people are doing, and then they hold themselves to like way less of a standard and just judge themselves based on their intentions. I think people need to look more closely at like their own actions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that made any sense. Okay. I don't know how to end this, so we're just going to end it. If you haven't already, rate, review, subscribe, follow, do all the things. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, full episodes are on YouTube. I feel like a lot of people still don't really know that. For 2 years, every episode has been on YouTube. So that's fun. And thanks for listening. Love ya.